Hello and welcome to I Love Shipple Wednesdays. We have a full house today. I have Corey, Bull Shipples, Russell, Manus, and Dan all here to talk about their respective projects. And since I'm losing my voice, I'm just going to go straight to it here. So we're going to start with Dan from Immersis. Please give us an update. How's your project going? How are things going? And what's new and exciting?
Awesome. Hello, everybody. And so I'm Dan. I'm with the Immersis team. So our project, we just recently released our property auctions. So now you can own like a shop or a residential property inside of our metaverse. You can take NFTs from the Wax platform that are currently inside of our ecosystem and decorate your own apartment essentially. So you can use your NFTs in a 3D space to basically decorate and have that personal space, or a more professional business retail shop where you can kind of promote your brand or promote your products or sell your products directly inside 3D space. So yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well. Thanks.
Excellent. And so we have some exciting Shipple news there too. How about you go for that, Bill Shipples?
Whoop, whoop. Well, thanks, Jen. I'm excited to be part of such a great crew here today. Me personally, I'm a community member in each of these communities represented, so I'm pretty excited to have everybody coming together and getting connected. As far as Shipple, we have a chicken blender project that the whitelist is now updated and complete. If you wonder if you're on it and you want to double check, feel free to DM me. But we have a surprise launch date of the actual Super Blender on Nifty that's going to go live here soon. And the goal is for it to be a surprise as far as the exact date it happens. So be watching our channel, all of our socials. And then I have recently joined the team as a community member on the Blue Dax side. And so excited to be working with Corey and the team over there, helping with just the community communication and connection and that type of thing. So excited to see what happens over there. Excited to be on the team. I guess that's my update.
Excellent. And I was all excited here with Immersis. We have some excitement going on there, but I wanted to show the excitement, but I can't seem to get the launcher to launch. And so,
I can hop in there if you want.
okay,
If I can
that would be
share.
fun. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to share your screen, and then I'll add it to the stream here, because we have a fun Shipple storefront apparently, and I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I was totally all over. Let's do it. Let's do it live because why not? And
All right. All right.
maybe
I'm
next
pulling
time.
it up and pulling up. Yeah. So Marty pulled off a big win in the auctions. Well, actually, you got a pre-sale, right? So that was super nice.
I mean, spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Whoop, whoop.
guess. But yeah, super exciting. Let me pull it up, get this shared.
I'm gonna have to get in there too. Yeah, read a bit about Immersis and yep, it looks fun. There's a
Yeah.
Shipple store. I should go
While
visit.
he's pulling that up, do you want to do? Oh, he got it. Sweet.
We got it up. So this is actually the
Fantastic.
test version too. So you can kind of see it upgraded a little bit here. This will be going out hopefully in about an hour or so. So when we released it, you unfortunately were not able to place the furniture the way that we wanted you to, or be able to set up the privacy settings properly. So let me get out here and
That looks like a living marshmallow on a
I was going to
stick.
say that's the cutest dead marshmallow I've ever seen.
living. Yeah. So that's Super Puff, the collection. He made a marshmallow on a stick NFT that you can wear in your hand. But yeah, so this is our new marketplace. So there's a bunch of shops, and obviously one of the shops is the Shippletopia shop here. And you got your signs, you're going to be able to place whatever you want, any kind of infographic on your like main front of the store, so you can promote whatever you want on the front. And then inside of the shop, you'll be able to decorate the shop with your own NFTs, put in like infographics about like what's going on, updates, and basically furnish it. It's just an empty building for you to furnish with 100% NFTs. So, this could be anything that you got going on in the uplift, or, any other, project or event that you're having. You can basically display it, and then anybody that's coming down our street can come in and examine it and like experience it. There's a couple shops that have been set up just to kind of give you, it's hard to visualize how it could get set up, but the nice thing is, Stuck at 6 p.m. actually came in and did a little furnishing of a shop, so you can kind of see, how it can kind of come together. So you can put furniture out, place it out. Everything's pretty much inspectable, so you can see he's got like a little front desk, and he's got some of his NFTs that you can come in, purchase, and buy the NFT in 3D space. So we're adding on to it. We're going to expand upon it quite a bit. To be honest, this is kind of that first version of it. It provides the retail functionality where you can buy NFTs, place NFTs, and basically run your residential property. All this kind of transitions into the retail spot, except you just don't have the option to sell stuff. But so that's what you guys got.
All right.
We're pretty excited. We'll share a little bit more of our plans here later in the show. We've recruited
nifty.
a few people and have some community hosting plans. But I would love to make sure we get everybody introed here.
Yes, absolutely. Corey, tell us a little bit about you and the Uplift.
I'm actually like furiously working on shit right now in the background. It's been a pretty heavy month. What's the phrase? It's been like a really heavy year this month. I used to talk about Hay River, which is just south of Yellowknife, and that like if you spend a day there, it feels like a week, because it's super boring. None of this is that relevant. We're finalizing the deal, so the team and I can buy the Uplift from Legend. It's going well, frankly, and we're hyper focused on that right now. But just in the last week, like looking at the ways that we're going to move forward, over this next year. I mean, the team and I are getting really, really excited about what we're going to be able to pull off. Just because we're gonna just be able to do all the things. But I think Dan, I've been thinking a lot about you and Immersis and Gnome City, and like just all the friends that we have in this sort of metaverse soup that we're creating.
Yeah.
I've been talking to TC actually this morning about NBC, Nifty BC, and the kind of worlds that he's been making. And yeah, I want to do all the things. I want for the Uplift and the Uplift community to be able to have exposure to all the different kinds, right? And like, there's just, I don't know. I smell massive wins for literally everyone. The more we do that, even as little MVPs or whatever, like the level of collabs that we can do, I think can start really simply and then just get really, really nuts. So that's the focus for Uplift right now. We're gonna set the DAO up. We've got a good initial boundary condition situation to get that rolling. Then we'll have the odds and end sale after that, which a lot of people are really excited about. Picking up land that is in our wallet that is next to them. They're gonna be able to do that with maps for the first time since CK. We're gonna have auctions for all those people. Yeah, well, and then inside probably 3 to 6 months, we'll start the DAO revenue sharing, which is gonna probably melt people's faces. If they're around and don't rage sell. And anyway, and I don't think anyone who watches this is gonna be in that boat. But if you know anyone or talk to anyone who is thinking about quitting the Uplift, please have them do it quickly, and that way they won't benefit from what we're about to do.
I was actually really disappointed that the price of everything didn't crash and I couldn't just buy all the Uplift properties for 1 or 2 whacks.
It's right. Yeah. It's like you'd think that it would go to zero so we could all pick them up. No. And I shouldn't even get snarky. So, like, the number of people that have been sort of negative in the past few days, like I can count them on my arms. Like it's not a lot of people. It just it leaves a mark on my psyche in a way that I'm not proud of, frankly. I should be able to just completely totally rise above that at all times, but I take this shit pretty personally. Anyway, that's not a good thing.
There's
anyway,
a lot of positivity from the DAO discussion and the polls.
So
there.
much,
Really
right? And you know, I think Tuttle's going to be taking the lead on the DAO formation. She's got a much better idea about all that stuff than me, anyway, right? So like she's been in a bunch of them already, and I think she's got a really, really good head for what this can look like, so that, you know, with the conditions that we're setting up initially, the community is still going to feel really, really heard and know that it's going to be evolving into a more perfect collaboration all the time, right? So yeah, all that stuff's going on, and Bad Gifter rebuilt Blue Deck. So fucking game on.
Yes,
it's like that shit just works now. He walks on water. I don't even care, but whatever. It's crazy. That's been busted for a long time. The one thing left on that, I will say, because we've been using r.land/blue. Anybody who's been using Blue Deck has been using that because it's the only way to actually use it for a while. Because all the underlying contracts that our team wrote, they've been working the whole time. Just our UX guy take off. And for anybody who doesn't know the story, like BlueDeck.io was effectively useless for a while. But Bad Gifter from Arland just made a new front end that plugs into all the contracts and just works because he's a wizard. So the only thing left now, he's rebuilding the community pools section so that projects can come in and make their own pools. And so that should be done relatively soon. But yeah, everything is just working perfectly on there now. Even like just down to the harvest all button, and you know, not having to like open things up, like just like simple UX stuff that frankly we should have thought of in the first iteration. That it's just like normal badassery wizardness from Bad Gifter. So yeah, so you know, things are moving, man. It even to me feels like it's never fast enough, but you just do one thing and then do one thing and then do another thing, and then, you know, tell everyone that what NFT Stonkers is doing is going to become a genre that's going to eat the world, and then do one more thing, and that's it from me.
Perfect. All right, so Vanis, what is NFT Stonkers doing that's going to eat the world?
Yeah, like we believe in moving in small steps. So new year just started. Our 2022 goal is very simple. Uh, we want to like we want to turn this multi-month project. So at like in 2021, like our project grew each month, and you know, we have to plan for, okay, what's the next step each month over and over again. So now in 2022, our goal is how to take this multi-month project and turn into a multi-year project, and how to build you know, sustainable economy for uh, all the different things that we do. For example, how to build a lasting economy for our token, and like other stuff that like we do, right? So in the same way, in the same direction, like we plan on building different tools here on Wax, which can really help the community, like, and the people like who are on Wax. And on the flip side, these tools will also create a sustaining economy, right? On the back end, the income from which will feed into the different things that we do, from token to stonks, and you know, things like that. So that's our main goal. Recently we launched CPU rental service. So unlike other rental services out there, like which are like before NFT Stonkers, CPU rental service was like that. So you go to a website, you rent the CPU for 1 day or two, and like you pay a hefty price for it. So like we recently launched the feature. Now it's not just 1 day or 2 day. You know, you can actually come in, like you can join the Wax blockchain, you can rent CPU, and you can basically keep on paying weekly or bi-weekly, very minimal rent, and just keep renting it forever. So it's sort of like, you know, you need not have thousands of Wax stake just to play one game or two. And like we are still brainstorming each day about how we can make it, you know, into something which can really add value to the Wax blockchain overall, and at the same time, you know, grow our project and like benefit our community. So yeah, that's what we are up to in 2022.
That sounds similar to the Blue DAC rocket, where you split it into smaller pieces. You made it easier for somebody, like you said, not to have to stake so much Wax. They can rent from you instead. So, yeah, you're making things more affordable for people.
Yeah, so our we have like two very simple objectives overall in the project. One is we want to make it accessible. Like whatever we provide, our main goal is making it accessible and then making it passive. So that's the two things that we want to do, and all small things that we do are inclined in that direction.
That's really cool. I didn't even know that CPU rental was a thing. I had no idea. That's neat. I like it.
I think Kate's been doing some stuff around that too. Yeah. So like the I think you basically talked about this, but like the even just my ability, right? 'Cause like I've been like playing the Blue DAC thing back and forth, since the beginning. And I've basically stopped. Like I've got a bit, but I'm not adding to anything anymore. Like I'm just leaving it there. Because I got to buy a bunch of locker NFTs for Blue. And now you guys manage all my shit. like I like, right? It just it sort of allows me to sort of have exposure to it. But as I think a much bigger thing and something that I want to support, right? Because I think like the kinds of fractionalization or sort of staking or DeFi as a service backed by an NFT is super fascinating, and that's what I think is going to eat the world. It's like the number of things that you guys will be able to do as you iterate and move forward. That core functionality just has an almost infinite loop of different things that we can do. In my clearly humble opinion.
Humble, not so humble, but all good. So, Bull Shipples, I know Corey spoke a bit about Blue DAC and a bit of an update there. What else can you tell us?
Ooh, so many exciting things. I do want to make sure we have one more very important person. I want to make sure we do not overlook him because Russ and I have been working on a fun little secret project that I think we can start to give a few hints about. Russ, do you want to share a little bit about the colony concept?
I could, yeah. But you said share some hints. So am I talking about it or sharing a hint?
Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, there's this group of people. We've been getting a little ant army. There's lots of people for a whole bunch of different crypto games trying to come up with strategies and helping each other. Information and tutorials. So the whole group is designed that we could go in somewhere, work together, and try to reap the benefits of getting whatever. If there's a race to a certain milestone, then we want to get there first. If it's just more efficient to share things together, then we're just a group to share, and some of it can be information too. It's a good way to get introduced to games. So yeah, and several people. Well, there's rewards paid out to all the colony members, and so there's different NFTs from different projects that are shared that way. It's nice. It's a good little group.
It's been a lot of fun working with you on it. And ooh, Russ, that's your infographic.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I know you've been working on this, putting together how
nice
picture of how we can be connected here. That's fun. In that alliance, working with Russ in the colony and working with a few others, Rob and Toy Store, we're pretty excited about organizing a group of people that can participate and experience all these different platforms, from Uplift to Immersis, NFT Stonkers with what they're doing, Blue DAC with the liquidity provision. I want to ask a question of the group, if that's okay, Jen. The question that I would like to ask is, what does a connected metaverse look like? And what does it look like now? What does it look like a year from now? And to kind of set the stage for that question, because I would love to hear from each of you, your perspective, your vision, your brainstorm on what does the connected metaverse look like. To set the stage for that, I would like to share a story. Because about a year ago, I saw a movie called Ready Player One. And for me still, there's a moment in that movie that is connected metaverse. And it's when the main character is walking down the platform with the portals on each side, and he calls out to his friend and he says, "Hey, where are you at?" And he pulls up his map of the metaverse, and there's all these different planets. And his friend is, fighting for, or trying to earn crypto on Planet Doom and in this PvP battle. And he says, "Oh, I'm over here." And so he pulls it up and he says, "Okay, I'll be right there." And he jumps through a portal, and he accesses where his friend's at. And there's this metaverse that's all these different worlds and all these different platforms, but he wants to go and be where his friend is. And so he can portal from one place to another to wherever the action is, wherever his friend is. And for me, still, that is a connected metaverse, where the metaverse isn't one platform or one game or one place, but it's a connection point where all of the places and all of the platforms and all of the games are accessible to all of the players, and we can interact and go back and forth between. And so it's not just, you know, digital, physical, where you're moving in and out of a physical doorway. Then each place has their own tokens. You know, how do we connect all of those? The players, how do we organize those with calendars and events? And so there's this world that we're creating. You know, the metaverse is this whole new world, right? Well, there's a lot of different pieces. There's a lot of need for connection. And so one of the things that we've been working on with the Shipple community, because our brand is, you know, gamify generosity, and we want to connect with communities to give communities the opportunity to be generous. And Jen, I'd love to hear an update on Shipple Gives if you have a chance here in a second. But with our Shipple brand, our goal is to connect with other communities. And one of the things that we want to do with that Shippletopia space in Immersus is host other communities, host the colony, host Blue DAC, host NFT Stonkers, have a portal to the Uplift where we can be a connection point where all of the communities that we love and are partnered with and are working together with, you can come into our space and then be connected with them. For me, that's the answer to my own question. What does a connected metaverse look like? That's the picture that I see, is going back to that Ready Player One movie, the ability to portal to one another and be connected to one another wherever that other friend or person is at, communicate with them, connect with them, and share that experience together. So hopefully that's okay, guys, if we can kind of pass that question around. What does a connected metaverse look like to you? And then what does it look like now? What does it look like a year from now?
Having everything connected with with the blockchain really helps. My Wax address goes with me to different places, and it's recognized, and games can see in my wallet, like with snapshots, right? That's all really neat. It's a good way to connect things. And yeah, bringing games together it's a wonderful goal. It's a nice aspiration.
I'd say what you're doing right now is an example of very early connected metaverses. I mean, having, you know, a place in all of these communities and basically educating your community on these different platforms is probably the most valuable thing you can do right now. The interconnectivity between the two, that's like technology. Like there's restraints from technology, obviously, right now. But I think the being able to understand what's going on in Uplift versus what's going on in NFT Stonkers, and being able to, you know, trade between, you know, the currencies of those two platforms and having resources available to you, so you know what you're doing when you get into that other area.
Yep.
Is kind of that thing that is super important right now. I think later on, obviously the portals between softwares and stuff like that, I think it could get to that point. I think there's some technical, you know, barriers that might present themselves right now. But what you're doing, creating a community that exists on multiple worlds, I think that's kind of the closest we can get to a connected metaverse at this current time. And I think that's what you see. I think that's why you see like guilds popping up that have, you know, these communities of people participating in multiple games in a way that's like, it's to them, it feels like a connected metaverse, right? Like they're going from just website to website, interacting with different games, but the community remains the same. And it's who you kind of take that journey with is what kind of, you know, makes it connected in my mind.
Yeah, it seems needed. The crypto world is more of a universe. It's very big. It's hard to navigate sometimes.
So I think you nailed it, Russ, with the sort of like the Web3 hashtag that's going around or whatever, right? Like the fact that we all have these wallets. And, you know, I said something on Facebook the other day about the fact that it's the network of human beings that is the whole thing, right? And ultimately, that's what makes the Uplift itself anti-fragile, and it makes what we're doing really anti-fragile. And you know, that's the stickiness of it, right? What Dan was saying, like we're all, you know, building different technical aspects of the multiverse, but that we're going to have presence everywhere, right? Like that's actually a goal of mine personally, because I don't have presence everywhere. It's making me freaking mad. I still haven't been in freaking Immersus in months. Anyway, I'm fine. Everything's fine. But that's the start, right? And the shows like this, frankly, are actually a part of that, right? Like communicating this idea that we're starting to lay claim to and evolve digital spaces that will be persistent over time, where our history is going to start getting encoded in those places. Our business and economics, our fun is going to start getting encoded in those places. Like all that stuff is actually happening, right? A year from now, I think that the story of it will be the different kind of NFT or crypto based collaborations that Dan and the Uplift team and I could do between Uplift and Immersus, as an example. Or that all these projects could sit Manus down and go, okay, like what's the craziest thing we could possibly think of doing? And now, not for nothing, we're totally just going to be able to do it. Wink, wink. I think that those things we've barely scratched the surface on what those collaborations are going to look like, because Russ's Wax wallet and all of his NFTs follow him all over the place, right? Like that, what we can then do with that to better serve Russ in all of these different variations of the metaverse, I think is something that we will have explored a lot more a year from now.
Yeah, definitely. I think what Corey said, like, so whatever seems impossible at the moment, it's just because we are at the very beginning, and I believe that in 1 or 2 years from now, people are gonna figure out everything that we think today is impossible. How I see connected universe, like, uh, is that when I'm able to, carry my stuff from one metaverse to another, right? So, for example, I have skins or some customizations which I want to take with myself wherever I go. So that's how I see. And in terms of metaverse in general, I think that over time, what we'll see is that they will get closer and closer to reality. So like the feeling of we are actually communicating with a person, and the person is standing right next to us. Like this is the direction the metaverse is heading, and when it gets there, it will be like people are spending more time there instead of meeting physically. So that's where I think it is headed over the time.
I absolutely love all of this, and I'm excited to be here for it. I don't have a lot of extra ideas or thoughts to contribute, other than that this is more or less, for me, the epitome of what the community is about. If everybody is involved, and if everybody has one foot in one project and another foot in another project, and then they say, hey, you should go talk to my friend over at wherever, and we do that, and then suddenly great things happen. It's a little bit more complex than that, but not by much. I'm very excited to see where this is going to be in a year or so. I think we had a request here. Can we take a look at the Shippletopia storefront in Immersus again?
Let me get that pulled up here.
Thanks.
Ooh, I'm pretty excited.
Here we go.
This will play in a little bit to it.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Charlie Q. Charlie, I don't know if you're watching, but Dan, you should know he is such a strong evangelist for your platform. Love that guy. Several months ago, when you were putting together the creators list and encouraging, hey, if you want to be a creator, get on the list. Charlie unrelentingly forced me to made sure that I was on that list. He's like, you're going to want to be on this list. You're going to want to have opportunity. And said, okay, Charlie, I trust you. I believe you. Love Dan. Love what we're seeing over at Immersus. So I got on the creators list several months ago. And then just randomly here, you mentioned our retail space in the pre-sale. Randomly, I got an email that said, hey, we have this opportunity. I replied. I never checked my email, so it was just kind of coincidental, divine, whatever. But I replied, saw that there was an opportunity, talked to Jen and Russ and said, hey, should we do this? All of my liquid wax is tied up in games. And so I was like, Russ, do you have any wax? And so thank you, Russ, for helping make sure that this could exist. And I think that pre-sale sold out with less than 24 hours, right? As soon as people heard about it, it was just gone, right? And then your auctions have done really well as well. We're really excited about this space. We have loved our experience. We love our experience in the Uplift event social, and every Wednesday night, every Friday nights. Those have been the highlights of my year, really. Hit a pretty low, that seasonal depressive disorder, whatever it is, man, I was sad in December. And what really pulled me through, what really has enabled me to have happy moments again, was hanging out with my friends in the metaverse, hanging out with my friends in Shippletopia over at Uplift. And one of the things that we're excited about is to begin to expand the community connections. And so that there can be links, there can be information. And in this store space, I wanted to give a shout out to Charlie Q. I want to give another shout out to Chad Blood, who has been a very active part of Immersis game from the beginning. I think he's one of your top 5 holders of assets and materials and NFTs. I've recruited him. He's willing to come in and be our community manager. Actually, a few of those signs that you have in the window are, at least one of those is his creation. He's one of the artists that did a bunch of our Shipple logos. And so shout out to Chad. Thank you for being willing to come in and be our community manager of this space. And in doing that, can we actually go into the space again, Dan? Is that possible?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And I think if I remember right, it's an empty space, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's a blank canvas for you.
So what I see here is room to host multiple communities. And I'm going to kind of go through a list here. So Russ and I have been involved with the Colony, which is a play-to-earn guilds that we're working on with Rob and Toy Store. Shout out Colony. We started in Prospectors. We're going to be moving into Our Planet. Then we're actually moving them into Uplift and Immersis as well. And what this is a group of non-wax people that we're bringing in, big players from other chains, and we're recruiting heavily to bring people into the wax ecosystem and bring onboard people into the games that we love and want to partner with and want to support. And the whole intent and the purpose is to support these games and support these platforms. And so in this space, I just want you to envision it. And I wanted to be here so that I could envision it. If we have the Colony in here, if we have Shipple Gives, the gamified generosity charity in here, if we have a link to Uplift events where people wandering through this space can see events that are happening in other places and can have access and information to that, that's amazing to me to have, like you said, Dan, the beginning of the tech portal, right? Because, I don't see a portal on the wall where I can literally walk into the Uplift, but I know that you can put links, you can put information, you can have at least the concept, right? The idea, the sharing of the information, letting people know what else exists out there. And then bringing in, I'm new to the Blue DAC team, and I'm very excited about that because in that Ready Player One movie, there's something that's an integral part of the player's experience. It's coin. Like, we're walking around doing whatever we do to receive coin, right? We want to receive crypto. And each platform has their own crypto. And with Blue DAC, what we have is the opportunity to have synergy between each of these tokens, providing liquidity, connecting communities in a very real way. From a DeFi perspective, providing liquidity for each of the game's tokens and allowing players to go in and out of the tokens in each of these games so that they aren't just locked into a bag that they can't unload, but they can actually take that and move that value around to all the different platforms that they're playing on. I love that opportunity. I love that experience. And talking with NFT Stonkers, love their model that they've set up where it's accessibility, right? And so this is kind of a surprise, but Manus, one of the things that we want to do in this space is have links and information for Blue DAC and for your platform and what you're doing at NFT Stonkers, because you provide that easy onboarding accessibility into that DeFi space. And so, if you look around this empty room and can envision it full of the Colony, Uplift, NFT Stonkers, Shipple Gives, and then Jen, I know this is putting you on the spot a little bit, but I'm so excited with the progress and what's happening with the Shipple Gives charity and the gamified generosity. Are you willing to share just a little bit, a sneak peek update of what's happening over on that end?
I can share a little bit, but I might not actually have the most current information. And last I had heard, the paperwork had been submitted, and we are waiting for the powers that be to process the things. So we have applied to become an entity, the type of entity that was recommended for the work we'll be doing, which is very exciting. And then we will be able to accept and distribute donations. And once we get the entity up and running, we can actively start doing the good work. And that will include a ton of community involvement in terms of recommending charities to us and nominating things and process and all the rest of it. So all of that is going to be a lot of good stuff happening quickly once that entity gets up and running. And it's all on the blockchain, so there's an extra added layer of transparency. And I think based on what I've seen in the last couple of weeks, that transparency is double extra important and would most likely have a good home on our website as well. So that's all good and important and noticed.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well,
Can
thank
I
you for
ask-
sharing, Dan. Oh, go ahead.
Can I ask two questions? I have a question, one for Manus and one for Dan. Yeah, all right. Okay, well, the first question is for Dan. I can't let that marshmallow on the stick go. It's amazing, and if I'm going to go into the game, I have to enter the game with that stick. So you had a name for it. What is its name again?
Yeah, let
It
me
was silly. It was
let me
wonderful.
actually get it. It's Mallow on a Stick is the name of the actual NFT. I could probably share you the the NFT here. But
Okay.
yeah, so it's from Puff Creative is the collection. So you'll notice like a lot of the creators that are inside of Immersives are starting to make 3D art just so that it can be worn and stuff like that. So that was one of their pieces of 3D art that they made.
Wonderful. Okay, Puff Creative. Yeah, so I wouldn't find it in the Immersi section, but in
No,
Puff
yep.
Creative on Atomic Hub. Okay,
Correct.
that's
Yep.
amazing. Okay, so I'm going to go in the game, and I've got to have that marshmallow. And then my question for you, Menace, is so Stonkers is still new to me, and I've got to read a whole bunch. I got lots to read. What would be one thing if you could pick something where I should just, or anybody should just go straight to that information because it's the most exciting to you right now?
So if you want to spend the least amount of time on the project, so the best ones would be you go for uh, the stonks. The schema is stonks or stonks.v2. So what what we do in those NFTs is, we have a dedicated account, and like we find different projects and we auto like invest into them and play different games, so it's not one particular game but a bunch of games. And whatever tokens we pool together from it, we convert them to vex and add to a weekly pool. And this keeps on going forever. So this is the simplest way to enter NFT stonkers. And then there are like other tools and stuff, but that is like need basis. So whenever you need to use them, for example, whenever you need to use the CPU rental service, that's another things. So yeah,
Okay.
but the simplest way is stonks from stonks or stonks.v2 schema.
Okay. I'm going to read about all of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know what you're the most excited about or is your favorite. Thank you.
Well, Dan, I have a question for you. And before I put on my Blue DAC hat, because I have some Blue DAC team responsibility questions to ask as well here today of both Dan, Stonkers, and the Corey, I'll ask you a Blue DAC question as well. But before I put on the Blue DAC hat, I still have my Shipple hat on. Dan, I'm super excited about the NFT sales that you can do in your retail space. And in hosting all the communities, what it seems like is that we can bring in NFTs really from any collection, any of our partnered collections, and have a multiple collection retail space. And then it seems that way, so please confirm
Yeah.
it. But then secondarily, what tokens can I spend in the store? Can I spend Shipple? Can I spend Blue? Is it just Wax? I know that you guys have Fate.
Yep.
What are the spending opportunities?
Yeah, so the way that it works is we really are just like this overlay of all the dApps that exist on the platform. That's what we've deemed easiest to kind of manage. So yes, you can bring in NFTs and they can function as proof of like ownership. So you can decorate the entire shop with furniture that you own, NFTs from collections that you own. So it doesn't have to just be the immersive collection. It could be from any of your favorite collections. Once they're in the game, you can place them out. And then as far as accepting different tokens, it's you can label the token price, but obviously we'd be going through hopefully Nifty Blocks accepting your token, or Atomic Hub accepting your token. We want to offer that marketplace. It's something that we're working towards ourselves, so that we can everybody wants to stay away from accepting everybody's token, but we're more than happy to be the marketplace that accepts every single token. We do eventually want to build into our own marketplace, but right now, it's basically links that'll redirect you to either a drop page, or a secondary market page, or an FD drops page, or something like that. So you can purchase, as long as your token's supported on it. You can purchase it and then immediately equip it or spawn it out in the world.
Nice. So the limitation is more based on what Nifty and Atomic are accepting at this point, depending on which drop it is. Okay, sweet. That's good news for Blue for sure.
Yep.
Well, and then okay, so putting on my Blue hat here, I'm new, community and connections, I think is my title over on the Blue team. But I'm very interested to hear, and we're kind of modeling this with this group, but we're going to be reaching out to all of the communities currently involved, additional communities that we would like to see involved in Blue Deck. But the question, and I'll start with you, Dan, for your community and with your Fate token, Blue Deck is liquidity provision and so much more. There's vision for the platform to expand beyond what it is now. It's still in infancy. But when it comes to a DeFi platform, when it comes to potentially, and I know you're a little bit familiar, but when it comes to potentially having a Fate Blue pair and having access for your community to Blue Deck, what would your community want? What would your community use? What would be important to you as the leader of your community for your community to be integrated and connected with Blue Deck? What is it? How could we build it to be what your community would want it to be? And then Manus, Corey, that same question for you. But Dan, you're first.
Sure. I mean, I think biggest thing is, because we're trying to be a metaverse for every project, I think the ability to have liquidity to go into different projects as easy as possible is important for me personally. So, I mean, that was kind of the big draw for me for Blue Deck, is just the fact that, because I mean, we had a pretty deep pool, I feel like on the initial release during the first pool. So, I mean, just being able to get into Blue, get into another token from a different game or different collection is probably the biggest thing for me. That's what I kind of care about. I want everything to be kind of connected. So that's my biggest draw. I think that's what got me into the project in the first place, is just the ability for you to take Fate, go to Blue, then get out into another project if you wanted to. And I think that's important to have. And it is the best platform to do that, right now. So yeah.
Manus.
Yeah. So for me, so the power of Blue Deck will be whatever the existing tools are. They are more customizable. We can easily extend the pool duration. So we don't have to like close the pools and reopen it next week or next time. So for example, I have a pool where you stake strong PT and you earn more strong PT. So at the end of the pool, I should be able to just extend the duration and add it. And like instead of distributing let's say daily or weekly, I can, so I can, instead of distributing daily, I can have it to distribute weekly, on a weekly basis. Or I can, instead of providing a pool, I can do different bunch of customization on it. And similarly, extend that functionality into NFT staking, where we can provide different ratios for the, like, different weights for different NFTs, and all of them stake into a single pool, and it pays out. So I think this feature is really useful to even our community and Wax in general, because almost every project on Wax has some sort of staking baked in. And if all is done on Blue Deck platform, it will be so much easier for all the communities to kind of explore different pools and get to know about different projects, because all are on the same platform, right? And all are visible right on the Blue Deck page. So that's where I see the power of like Blue Deck. And so over time, like my short term and long term view on like Blue is that like in the short term there are enough staking opportunities on Blue, different communities coming together, so that so this I'm sharing from the perspective that we also have stonks for Blue. So economy wise, so like there are enough staking opportunities for Blue. In medium term, the supply of Blue and the consumption, they are matched together, so that we can reach to a point where people have trust in the Blue token, and they actually want to collect and hold Blue. And in the long term perspective, the sinks are more, and the supply is comparatively less. So that's where I think we will derive the most value.
Excellent, thank you. Well,
I
then,
wrote all
Corey, I
that
know
shit
you
down.
work. Me too. Corey, I know you wear a couple hats and you're involved with the Blue team as well. But if you could take off that hat and put on the Uplift community hat and think, for the Uplift community, what would be good for the Uplift community to use Blue Dac? What does the Uplift community need Blue Dac to be and do? And I know you don't have a chance to alternate hats
Yeah,
all the
no,
time, but
like honestly, everything that Manus just said, right? Like we had a bunch of NFTs in our planet. They're not in our planet anymore. It'd be really cool if we could do something with all those NFTs, right? And we will, right? Like NFT staking. Like obviously we had some things to do, like making the site actually fucking work. That was like thing number one. Become basically functional. But yeah, like NFT staking is definitely our next big thing to do for the Blue Deck side, and then we add that into the community pools, right? So yeah, I think having the ability to have a place for all those NFTs to go do something, is really interesting. Maybe as blends or whatever it is, right? But I think Manus, what you said about the having since everybody's going to kind of be doing NFT staking of some not everybody, a lot of people, right? Having somewhere where you can go that's like a sort of a community spot where all that kind of thing is happening is really interesting, because I think like what happens when all those ideas start to cross pollinate and do more blender community pools, that kind of thing, it's going to be super fascinating. And again, the RT educators, asking about, like, we had a lift wax pool that the Uplift team funded, right? And so that was actually pretty popular as a community pool. And obviously we need to finish the purchasing the company and doing the transition and stuff. But I think like that's something that the Uplift itself will do pretty soon. And I'm on the Blue Deck side really excited to see people like Douglas Bentner from CTX, if I'm not mistaken, doing a bunch of community pools, and that, like, that is just awesome. Like, that's why it's there. Granted, we have to, I think Bad Gifter's fixing up the community pools thing, so if you go to build one right now, I don't think you can, but you will be pretty soon. So yeah, I mean,
shout out to Bad Gifter.
Right? Yeah, the guy walks on water as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, he's just doing some really amazing stuff. So yeah, I mean that, and then again, to Dan's point, having the ability for people to go from lithium to Fate in a relatively easy way. Like, I think all the pools need to be way deeper, right? Which is like part of our Blue Deck goal for the year too. But like that's kind of the point, right? It can become that through line and liquidity add, so that it gets really easy to kind of move all over the place, which I think is something that will serve the entire ecosystem.
Yeah. Well, and I would love to throw both Jen and Russ under the bus here real quick. Not really, but I'm gonna ask that question of you, and then Russ, if you're willing to take the hat of maybe the colony or a player, a player coming into the DeFi space, playing all the different games. What do you need Blue Deck to be? And then Jen, I would ask you to take the hat of the Shipple Gives charity. What does a charitable entity need Blue Deck to be, and how would a charitable entity want to participate in Blue Deck? But Russ, if you want to go first, and kind of from that player perspective, what does a player need Blue Deck to be?
I think it's fun you picked me. I don't know if I'm the best or the worst example for a player. I want to try a little bit of everything, and sometimes I'm smart about it, and I do the math and I think about that, and sometimes I'm stupid and I don't care, and I just want to just try the thing. And so I don't know where most people fall in a bell curve between, intently focused on the financial ROI and, ooh, everything is shiny and I'll throw my money at it. So I don't know. I'm a little of both. But as a player, like I'm happy that the pools pay out, and so I like the idea of staking things, and people can consider the payouts there and the math there. Like if they had currency, is it better to stake it, and for how long? And yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I like math puzzles and things like that. So to me, that's fun. Or I like the going to other blockchains. The rockets. I like that idea. And that's the stupid, risky part of me, where I say, I don't really know or care what it is, but I just want to try all the things. And then when we get there, then I'm happy to try it out. Now, that might not satisfy somebody else who wants to do every little calculation. And maybe they can, but sometimes I just want to do the thing. I don't know. How common is that?
I think we're all degens for sure.
I'm probably talking to the wrong people because you're
No,
all.
I think that's me for sure. I know, like Bull Shipples might say he's a degen. He does all the fucking math, and I know he does. Don't let him lie to you.
Well, that's true.
I'm the same way, Russ. Like sometimes, like especially like early Alien Worlds, Our Planet days or whatever. I was crunching all the math excitedly and buying like $1 NFTs like it was, or one wax NFTs like it was my job.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like it. I think that mixture is something that we should all kind of play into, right? And again, like the rockets and stuff, I want to do more of that stuff too. And we have like there's gonna be a lot of things coming with Polygon this year. Like, is it gonna come next week? No, we have some fish to fry, but there's lots of opportunity over there, and that the stuff that's over there from the rockets is gonna have some shit to do at some point. And I'd love to do more of that because I think it's gonna be really cool.
Actually, I want to touch back on that, but Jen, do you want to share your perspective real quick? And then that's one of our primary questions that's come from the community is, hey, what about Polygon? What about the rocket? I want to circle back to that, and I have some thoughts that I'd like to share. But Jen, you're up.
I was thinking a little bit while everybody was talking, and I was taking notes about how a charity could make use of a platform like BlueDAC, and the answer is stupidly simple. People have NFTs to stake, so let's have a community pool where you stake all your NFTs, earn some Shipple that you can donate to the Shipple Gives fund, or whatever other tokenized charity is out there. Have a special charity-only community section, right? Stake all your NFTs or whatever else you want to stake. Maybe it's a liquidity pool. Maybe there's a project you want to help support. Figure that out and then earn a token that you can donate with the purpose of donating and have that. And the more people who are kind of in on that with the view of I can stake something and earn a token that I can donate to make somebody's life in the real world better, I can't see that going wrong. I see absolutely zero bad things with that, especially if it's a bunch of NFTs that maybe I've had for a long time that really don't have any other purpose or function. Maybe they were cool at the time, or maybe it's my fine art collection that I absolutely love, but honestly, aside from the wallpaper on my computer, what am I doing with it?
Nothing lost. That's a good idea.
Exactly. It's beautiful art. I can still go look at it anytime I want, and then I could stake it for charity. So why not? So that's my thought on that.
Love that. And I love that model of it's easier to give something that you're receiving or that you haven't put in your bank account yet. As soon as it's in your bank account and you have to take it out, then we experience it just naturally as loss. But if we can just siphon off a portion of what we're receiving or what we're not using, that's just out there, ethereal or whatever, we don't experience that as loss. And it's a lot easier to be generous when it doesn't hit that loss trigger, right? And so I'm excited to see how staking for a project could look, what that could look like. And again, we're talking about tech progression and future steps and a lot more dev time and zeros and ones. And thank God that Bad Gifter's on the team. And we have some genius brains doing the zeros and ones now. Pretty excited about that and the possibilities moving forward. I want to circle back to that Polygon rocket question because it's one of the primary questions that's come from the community is, well, what next? We had this vision, we had this concept of, going to other chains and expanding, and a lot of vision and a lot of goals. And what I'm seeing is that we're having the opportunity to take a step back and look at where things are at, assess, and then plan, and figure out how to move forward. And so, in that moving forward, I'm going to put this to probably Corey and Manus. What do each of you see potential brainstorm, in the near future with what's possible over on, I'll just say other chains. We've already gone to Polygon, but what is possible in the near future as far as that rocket expansion concept?
Yeah, so I'm still in talks with the Crystal team on doing something. Dot dot dot.
Spoilers!
Big, not small. Let's put it that way.
Cool.
And again, like there was a bit of a distract the last couple of weeks, so we haven't those talks have kind of stalled for a little bit, but we'll be doing them again. And then of course, Polygon has been screaming at me to make a world in the Uplift, which is one of our initial goals after we do the odds and end sale for this quarter. So I'm going to be meeting 20, 30, 40 different projects that are on Polygon, and of course we'll be able to cross pollinate some ideas through that as well, because the vast majority of them are tokenized in some way or another. So yeah, there's tons, right? Again, it's it's the network of all the people and all the projects doing all the things with the crypto, and we still have all those connections. They're going to be meaningfully connected to everything else that we're doing in the Uplift. And I'm talking to the Crystal team about having a home for blue based pools and rewards. And again, that will either work or it doesn't. And there's backup plans if that doesn't work, right? So it's just basically a function of time before we can sort of map out what we're going to be doing on that chain. And then I think Binance Smart Chain is another fairly easy one to knock down with some of our friends over there. And then EOS, right? We could port BlueDAC over to EOS by winking at it the right way, right? So that's another thing that we're gonna be able to do. So they keep making noises like they're actually gonna build stuff that people are gonna want to use. And for the record, I totally think that they are. I think Yves Laros is a powerful force over there, and I think some good things are gonna happen. So yeah, there'll be tons of opportunity. We could be
Shipple
on.
was born on EOS, and so I'm excited to get that connected back again. That would be fun.
Right? Yeah, that'd be good.
Well, and Manus, I want to point the question toward you and give you the opportunity to share for your community. People have wondered, hey, what's going on? What's happening? They saw an airdrop that came into their wallet, and want to give you a chance to kind of just share, what happened, the decision that you made, the background on it, and then more importantly, what do you see as far as the near future of what you would want to or could happen in that multi-chain rocket concept?
Sure. So, so first update on what happened, right? So on 15th January, Crystal closed all Crystal.finance. They closed all the pools, so there were no staking opportunities available there. And so after that, we waited for around 15 to 20 days, and I was sort of trying to make the best decision possible. So we had two tokens over there, Blue, which basically we pooled, and the Matic, which we paired it with, right? So what how we thought is, right, okay, so now Blue, it is sitting there idle and we can't do anything about it. So can we do anything about the Matic? So we looked at different platforms and thought of finding an opportunity where we can utilize that Matic, but we were not able to find a good enough opportunity. And then coupled with the fact that Matic usually moves in sync with Wax, we decided, okay, let's convert the Matic to Wax and airdrop it back, so that the pool owners can decide for themselves what they want to do with the Matic. So that's it, what we have done for now, right? The Blue is still sitting there, and we haven't moved it around. We are waiting for the opportunities to come up and decide what we want to do with that. Going forward, what I think, the short term goals should be, or two possible things we can focus on is that how do we build liquidity on other chains, right? So for example, I was looking at Blue liquidity. There is very less liquidity on Polygon. So that's the short-term goal I'm looking at, how we can build liquidity on Polygon. And the second is how do we stake it, right? So like maybe a couple of partnerships and lots of pools. So like so it takes time to build stuff over whether it is on Wax, on Polygon, and that will definitely take a couple of months, like not 2-3 months but 5 to 6 months. But meanwhile, like if we have a use for token, then that means like during the duration we are building, we have enough opportunities provided so people can actually go and do something about it. And and this will give us the time to build tools, the awesome tools that we wanted. So that's how I think about Polygon. Yeah.
Love that, and thank you for sharing that. I've been a part of some of the conversations happening behind the scenes, and so I'm excited to see the plans and what we aren't going to share today, but what is possible in the near future. And so thank you for just giving that community update. It's very important to me that the community is just kept aware of what's happening, and we have to evolve and we have to adapt. Right? We didn't know that Crystal was going to close their pools, when we went that direction. But then it creates the opportunity that Corey was hinting at, where there could be an opportunity for us to step in and help fill that void and gap that's all of a sudden there. And I want to circle this back around.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I got to run. I have another call I have to go to. But thank you very much for inviting me here. You guys are effing fantastic.
When you are at an hour, I want to circle this back around to Immersis, because Dan, I'm excited about something, and I want to ask a question. How soon can I take my blue that I've earned on BlueDAC and come into Immersis and walk into the Shippletopia retail store and buy an Uplift NFT and a Stonkers NFT? How soon can I do that? And just so you know, Blue is one of the approved, on NFTs. So
so immediately. I mean, you'd be able to do it immediately. So if you wanted to go in there, you can place out an Uplift or an NFT Stonkers NFT inside your location, link it to Nifty Blocks that's accepting Blue, and boom, you're all set. You can you set up the pricing with whatever token you want, so that when they're inspecting the items, they know what they're going to be purchasing in it.
I'm kind of excited because what I see is that this use case for a synergistic connected token that's liquid with all of our game tokens that can then be used to purchase the NFTs in each of those platforms and games is really the ultimate use case.
Absolutely.
For Blue, right? Because if I have Lithium and I want to buy an Immersis NFT, can I purchase an Immersis NFT with Lithium right now? Yeah.
Not yet,
right?
Yeah.
Well, but if I convert it to Blue and then convert Blue, or just even use Blue,
Well, it's going to be funny because you're going to have all those streets on the road that all have their own different token, right? Yeah. You almost need like that little exchange, like ATM machine that's going to be in the front of the Blue TM or whatever, right? Where, you go to the website, transfer into the token that you need, go into the shop, because that first shop that I showed you was stuck at 6 p.m.'s stuff. So all of his is priced in guild. So, every shop is, I'm assuming, going to have their own token, and being able to kind of get in between those tokens is going to be super important to be able to purchase, from those different shops.
I'm pretty excited about the near future and the conversations that we get to have like this, where we talk about those connection points and how we can benefit one another by being connected. Because I want to buy not just Uplift NFTs, because I have a lot. I want to buy Immersis NFTs. I want to buy Stonkers NFTs. All of a sudden, I want to buy Stuck at 6 p.m. NFTs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's go. Let's up and go, man. Woo! That's all I got, Jen. What do you got?
I have a whole pile of notes and a request from everyone who's here. If you could please drop the links for your socials in the private chat, and I will add them to the video description after, and I will also put them all over everywhere so that we can all find each other and stay in touch and all that, savvy stuff that we all obviously highly value, or we wouldn't be here.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here.
This has been awesome. As usual, I have learned a whole pile of things I didn't know before, and I am very excited about where everything is going to go. Does anyone else have any last words?
I'm just excited. It gets more and more exciting every single day. So it's cool. I love when everybody's building, 'cause that's when it gets exciting. I think crypto kind of went down, and that means everybody kind of, got together and started collaborating a little bit more and figuring out where they go next. And I think that's when you see the next wave of innovation come up and all the cool stuff, pop up. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, on that note, bye.